Astrophotography is a hobby with a multitude of variables and an art that is performed with a high level of precision. But one variable can sometimes be overlooked, and that's the human factor.
Hey everyone, it's Tony with Hidden Light Photography, and today I'm going to show you what I did wrong with my M81 project. I made a small misjudgment that almost cost me the project. So if you haven't done so yet, hit that subscribe button. I don't want you to miss out on any content. Now let's head on over and find out what happened with M81 and what I did to fix it. So if you've been following the channel, I'm sure some of you noticed that I did have to change up my posting schedule last week. Unfortunately, with Mother's Day weekend being that weekend, some family obligations and work, it was a very busy week for me. So I did not have a backup plan, unfortunately. I had all of my eggs in the M81 video basket, as that was the video that was supposed to launch that Monday. And of course, Murphy's Law, something happened with the M81 video. But I wanted to show you what happened because this is a very real scenario, and I wanted to kind of show you what I did to fix it and what I found, because I want to maybe hope that this can help one of you if you run into something similar. And we all know astrophotography is a hobby of a multitude of different variables, and I think sometimes it's easy to forget the human factor. But anyway, let's jump in and let's see what happened. So I'm going to open up my original M81 master file. I'm going to do a quick unlink stretch. And I'll tell you what, just a couple of days before the launch of the video, I was trying to get this image processed and ready to go. I saw this and my heart absolutely sank. I felt so defeated. There was not much time to get this ready without any issues. And then we had this. But I tried to process it anyway. It would not process. I immediately jumped in to try to figure out what happened. Unfortunately, there just was not enough time to get this figured out. This kind of threw me for a little bit of a loop here. Hence, I had to modify the schedule last week. But anyway, what happened here? As you can see, there's a massively heavy gradient over here in the corner. So the first step that I took was, is this present in any of the light frames? Well, all these processes here, blink, statistics, fits header, and screen transfer function, are all in the all processes section of PixInsight. I go over a lot of these in my videos, my PixInsight series, and also in my dark frames video. But let's go into blink really quick. Let's go ahead and open up the original M81 light frames. We'll go from night 1 here. And blink is pretty cool. What you can do is load in your files, you hit play, and it'll show you live, as you can see here, what the subframes look like. And what I'm looking for is that heavy gradient pattern. And as I'm sure you're seeing as well, it's non-existent. So I did this for every single light frame on every single night, could not find that pattern. Let's go ahead really quick and go to the original. We'll go to night 1. We'll open up a dark frame. We'll open up a flat frame. We'll open up a light frame. Let's do a quick stretch on each one. We'll rename them so they're easy to find here. And as I'm sure you know, a dark frame, I say it can be somewhat close to the brightness of a light frame, but it must always be darker. It can never be brighter. So if we go into statistics, we don't need blink anymore. We'll get rid of that. We'll go into statistics. We'll bring up our light frame. We have a mean value of 2,814. Let's go to our dark frame, a mean value of 1,997. So this dark frame is good for this light frame as far as brightness. Now, the other thing about dark frames, they must match exposure time, gain setting, offset setting, as well as temperature. So if we go and we bring up a light frame, it's light, exposure 180, gain 100, offset 50, set temperature of the camera -10, actual temperature of the camera -10. Dark frame, we have dark, 180 seconds, gain 100, offset 50, set temperature of the camera -10, actual temperature -9.9. So this dark frame is very well matched to this light frame. Statistically speaking, there's nothing wrong with it. And I went through the painstaking task of doing this for each and every one of my light frames, dark frames, and flat frames throughout the entire 10 nights of M81. I found absolutely nothing wrong with any of the frames. Now, if we take a look in statistics, we go to flat, we have a mean value of 23,701. This is just a little bit darker than what I normally do. I'm usually about high 24s, low 25s as far as ADU. So I'm about 1300 light. Let me word it like this. I'm about 1300 ADU less than what I'm normally at. But nothing too drastic, right? So I'm sitting here scratching my head trying to figure out what's going on with this image. Well, at the same time as imaging M81, I was also imaging NGC 2264. Now, NGC 2264, according to SharpCat, the recommendations were right around 180 seconds. I think it was 173 seconds is what it came up with. So I just rounded it to 180. You can always go more, you can't go less. And so NGC 2264 and M81 shared the same calibration frames, the same dark frames, the same flat frames, since they were both imaged at the same time with the same exposure, gain, and offset. So here is one thing that before I get into this next part, I want to show you. Let's exit out of our subframes here. Let's exit out of statistics, fits header. Let's see, I meant to go to identifier. Let's name this original because we're going to start bringing up some other images here. Let's move original to the side. I went ahead and trying to isolate what's going on since all of the light frames did not present that gradient pattern. Let's go into the test no-cal. I went and ran WBPP with no calibration frames and take a look at this difference. We have a much, much flatter field, a much more even field. Now, here's the absolute bizarre part. Those same exact calibration frames were used for NGC 2264, and NGC 2264 came out absolutely flawless. So those calibration frames worked with NGC 2264. However, this result right here tells me that there is a calibration frame issue. Now, how do I come to that conclusion? Here's M81 ran with calibration frames. Here's M81 ran without calibration frames. And we have a much better field to work with. So now, which calibration frame caused the issue? Well, to answer that, what I did is I ran the WBPP with darks only, and that gave me this result right over here. So as you can see, we still have, in fact, let me bring up, let me rename this really quick, dark only. Let me bring up again, no cal. Let's name this no cal. Let's re-stretch it. Okay, so we have no cal on the left, we have darks only on the right. You can see some differences with the dark frames added in. We're a little bit darker over here. And no calibration frames at all. We are a little bit brighter in the corner. But we don't have that huge gradient that we were seeing, okay? So let's move no cal off to the side. Let's move dark only off to the side. Let's move original off to the side. So what can we conclude so far? We can conclude that the flat frames are the issue. Again, no calibration frames were looking decent, and dark only we're looking decent. But as soon as we add in flats, we're looking like this. So we can conclude the flat frames are the problem. However, the flat frames worked with NGC 2264. So I had a different project that I started, M64, and M64 utilized the same camera, the 533, and those flat frames were about 25,200 ADU. So those are right at what I normally do my flat frames at. So what I did is I ran a little test with the M64 flats. I ran from about the start of the M81 target for the night until about midnight, roughly 54 minutes, and I end up with this result right here. So this is darks and flats. So now we have an image here that we're utilizing both the darks and the flats, but we don't have this massive gradient. Again, this is only about 54 minutes, okay? But it's a step in the right direction. We are changing the result, and the only thing that we did is put a little bit brighter flats in. But this is looking good. This seems like something that we can work with, right? So let's actually rename this again. Let's do partial M flat. We'll move this off to the side. Let's minimize original. And I went ahead and did the full night with the M64 flats. And to my surprise, we're kind of back to looking a little bit rough. but it's a step in the right direction. Notice how this is just a sudden drop off. We're bright and then we're just dropping off, right? We're a little bit smoother in over here. So it's a step in the right direction. So I got to thinking, why are the brighter flats working better, right? Well, check this out. This project started about April 17th, and it was getting dark about 7:45 p.m. When I initially ran SharpCat to get a sky brightness analysis and an exposure recommendation, I slewed to NGC 2264. I got the recommendation. It was about 173 seconds. I rounded it to 180. I then slewed to M81, got an exposure recommendation. Again, it was right around 171 seconds, I believe it was, if I remember correctly. Again, I rounded it to 180. Now, look at the sky position for M81 at 7:45 p.m. April 17th. I imaged roughly 3 hours on NGC 2264, which put me to M81 roughly 11:45 p.m. midnight. Look at the sky position there. Normally not a big deal. Take a peek at this photo here. Look at the brightness in the northwest from Phoenix, the light pollution. So when I did the SharpCap analysis at 7:45 p.m., the sky position of M81 was in a much darker portion of the sky. By the time I got to M81, it was already entering a pretty decent part of the light pollution and only moving deeper into it. Because the closer you get into that light pollution, the brighter it's getting. So again, this project started April 17th, and multiple nights of wind, multiple nights of clouds pushed it to this current month here, May, and NGC 2264 is getting closer to the horizon every day, so I'm getting less and less time on it. But also, too, M81 is moving through the sky and getting closer and closer to the horizon, deeper and deeper into the light pollution. So, in other words, there's the human factor. In trying to rush to get it done, I accidentally didn't think about the fact that by the time I got to M81, it's going to be in the light pollution. So I did the sky analysis in the wrong part of the sky, and simply put, overexposed M81. Now, normally it wouldn't be too big of a deal, as you'd have a lot of imaging in the darker part of the sky, but such a simple mistake, and look at what happened here. So this isn't the exact correct solution. It worked. I'm going to end up just saying that I got lucky. Let's go ahead and get rid of these. We don't need these anymore. I went ahead and I did 2 sets of flat frames. I did a set at 30,000 ADU and I did a set at 35,000 ADU. Let's take a look at our master with 35,000 ADU. Do a quick stretch. This is a full night. There you go. In fact, if we were to go ahead and let's do a quick crack spurt. I'm sorry, this is the full deal, not full night. I apologize. This is the full integration for M81 with 35,000 ADU. And now let's do a quick crack spurt on the original. And what you'll see here, he tries to remove it, but this image is unworkable. This image, is it perfect? No, but it's at least workable. So I'm just hoping that this might help somebody who may or may not have run into the same issue, or if they end up finding themselves in this pickle here, give them an idea to maybe resolve it. Again, this isn't the exact solution for this, but it worked. I got lucky. But anyway, I hope that you found this useful. If you did, do me a favor, that channel icon that just popped up, hit that channel icon and subscribe. I don't want you to miss out on any valuable information. We still got a lot of stuff to cover. And then throw a comment in the comment section. Do you have any questions? Did you find this useful? Have you found yourself run into this issue before or something similar? And if so, what did you do to fix it? And then check out that next video. Until the next time, clear skies.